Yeah, this is the W Lounge Germany's Next Role Model show on Thursday, our third live week every day, daily
Wow.
show. And Mali and myself was sitting down 2 weeks ago and said we would love to build panels for people, for excellent people, for experts, to bring them together for a unique opportunity for our audience. And today we have a coaches panel. And I'm so grateful that you have the time, Barbara, Lilli, and Maike from MaLish from Frankfurt, Karin, a very good friend of mine from Berlin, and of course, Mali. And this is the amazing opportunity of W Lounge, Germany's Next Role Model, to bring all the skills together to share what we have. And hey, my dream would have been some years ago to get 5 or 6 excellent coaches at one table, to get 1 hour for free. So today we are here to talk about how to position myself in these times. We have MaLish, Maike, and Lilli here for several communication things. And you will talk about how to position yourself in maybe in LinkedIn or another channels we have. This is very important. It's also my topic every day.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having us. We are really excited, and also to have this amazing panel with all the other ladies, and to support the startups or the entrepreneurs and talk about positioning. And so we are specialized on helping entrepreneurs and employees to get to the next step. And so talking about entrepreneurs, we are there to support really from the beginning, so from the business plan until the market launch. Go ahead.
Yes, and we do that, of course, with our own tools and techniques, the things that we found out, that we tried out on our own business that worked fine. We're incorporating this into our coachings. But what we're really proud of is the idea of the compreneur concept, which is a combination of company and entrepreneur, which means we bring those mindsets and tools and techniques together. So when we started our entrepreneurial journey, we thought, okay, we want to do everything differently. We had loved our corporate journey, but still we want to do things different from now on. And only later we realized that we should really embrace what we had achieved in the corporate world. All those tools and techniques, communication methods, all the skills, time management wise and so on, that those are really our greatest assets, also being entrepreneurs. And this is also what we want to bring to the world and saying, don't neglect the way and where you come from, embrace it, use all kind of techniques, and so you can thrive.
And these are tools how to become the authority in that field you are active, right?
Absolutely, and of course we are also using other tools like LinkedIn, as you mentioned, Janine. This is a really powerful tool nowadays, and this can really help you to bring your business on another level or build up your branding, because a lot of startups or entrepreneurs, they have never thought about great branding, and it kind of worked out, but nowadays we have to think in another dimension, so to say, and really to be there for our customers and be available, be reachable, and really show what you can. So showcase your values, showcase what you have on the plate.
We find our greatest challenge when working with entrepreneurs, and this doesn't really matter if they just have an idea or if they've worked for some time on their idea and then they come to us for additional help. We often, we're really good at spotting the pain points and giving people ideas. And they're often very quick at responding. They're really enthusiastic. They think our idea is great and they follow up on it. But we then often later think that we were maybe too positive, not saying too pushy, but in a way because we saw it and we would have known how to do it from then on. Well, we had the feeling that our coachees then were kind of stuck somewhere, that it maybe didn't feel like this was their original idea, that we had placed it in their heads, so that we at times said, okay, we must say less and let people do more their own thing instead of giving them the shortcut, which is great. We love getting shortcuts. But then if you're stuck at implementing them, then maybe we shouldn't go down this road, right?
Yes, and so I had this week a coachee, and she's a founder, and she has like a great community center, which of course now is closed due to the current situation. And so we looked at ways how she could make use of the location nevertheless. But because she was not from a really business setup, so we are really down to business when it comes to coaching. So we are business coaches, not mindset coaches, not spiritual coaches. And then we were in the middle of the session and going down to the figures. So what is my income? What costs do I have on the other hand? And then she was just saying, well, I will not put more effort. I don't want to work more because it does not go with my flow. I don't feel really comfortable with that. And then of course I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And then really I had to put myself back and really try to understand her point of view and trying to work with her out, okay, what are the consequences? If you are not doing what I'm telling you or advising you, what are the consequences? Are you willing to take them? And this is sometimes really challenging if the people do not see the necessity of real business setup, and if they are not from this field, they don't understand it, and then to bring it down to their language so that they can identify them with the current situation, with the topic, and then find a solution where they can be in their own flow again and say, okay, this is where I can really work with or live with. You have to be outside, so you have to position yourself and you have to deliver content. You have to show the people how you work, what your values are, what topics you are handling. And for example, LinkedIn is the perfect platform for it because you can do it for example, with articles. So if you really want to go or dive deep into a topic, you can do it with sharing tips, with posts. You can also do a video. So there, the portfolio is really, really bright, and you can play with it and show different aspects of the way you are working and all the services you are providing and how you do it. So, for example, we both within the Compreneurs setup, we have divided our kind of responsibilities. So I'm more for the corporate setup, so the career, the leadership, and Maike is for the entrepreneurs. So especially when you go on my LinkedIn profile, so I'm positioned, of course I'm part of MaLish, but I'm positioned as an expert for career topics. So depending on leadership developments or executive training. So this is more my direction. So and Maike is more positioned as the go-to point for entrepreneurs. So talking about business plan, figures, and this setup. And we of course share content in this direction. So giving the information for those people or possible customers and future coachees, so to say. And then before they come into our coaching, they already know what we are providing and how we are working and with whom they want to work, because people relate to people, and even if you are selling a pen or whatever, they do not buy the pen, they buy you because they can relate with you. They can relate with your values, they can relate with your style, they can relate maybe with your, I don't know, haircut or whatever it is. It's always the personal thing, and this is really important, especially nowadays, really to show who you are, to take your customers on a journey and to show them how the work with you could look like, so that they feel comfortable, and if they decide to come to you and be part of your coaching, they already know, okay, you see, they are still the same and they are not faking it online.
How is it as business coaches in terms of positioning in LinkedIn? There are so many cultures and so many different thinkings and mindsets. How do you deal with that and to bring the people to a fitting positioning in LinkedIn? It's not that personal, I think.
I really like the international aspect of the question. So this, of course, goes for LinkedIn, but also for other social media and positioning. So are there really cultural differences, or do you need to position yourself differently in different countries? And well, the question or the answer is it depends. But what is universal is the search for truths, for inspirational stories, for great products. It's not so much about price, but it's actually getting value for the price you pay. People love reading stories. They love posts, independent of whether they are on Facebook or on LinkedIn. So content that is easy to consume, easy to access, and that resonates with you. And this is really, really universal. I read a study recently how different countries react differently during the corona crisis, what kind of content they share, like and comment and write on LinkedIn. And it was really, really closely connected to one another. So it wasn't really a gap. The people from South America were wanting something totally different on LinkedIn than in Asia. The cultural differences we find, especially coaching people and coaching companies, that in some areas, in some regions, some countries, Germany is one of them, people are skeptical of social media in general. So if they have their own business, they'd rather have someone else do it. Someone, getting the customers, getting the material out there, instead of really doing it themselves and telling their story, for example, as has been mentioned also, to talk about their product, to take the customer on a journey. So they'd rather stay in their little shell, not communicate. The main driver for LinkedIn is because someone told them to be there. And then they entered the data once upon a time and never touched on it, and they really don't know what to do with this. And this is especially, as we've seen in Germany, where people are really reluctant and skeptical towards LinkedIn. They might have no problem sharing all kinds of buying behavior on Amazon, and Amazon might know it all. But when it comes to LinkedIn, where actually you are the captain of your life and your story, and where you could decide what kind of story gets out there, people then say, I'd rather not. That's for intercultural differences on LinkedIn. What we'd really like to work with people and how we also put things out there, we want to help people to get results. And we want them to work with us, but then also work on their own. So it's of utmost important that we help them, but really with hands-on tools. So how to position yourself on LinkedIn, how to set up a YouTube channel, just to name a few examples, but then to be able to work on your own. And therefore you need to really know your story, your why, and only then adding the work with us on top, then you are actually able to walk on your own.
Yes, because our company value is to provide implementable coaching. So we do not want to bond the people for a lifetime that they cannot do a step without MaLish. But we want to empower our customers, our coachees, that they know how to start, what to do, that they have every tool on hand, and if within the process, so when they, for example, start growing their business, they still keep us as a good experience, and they come back with different topics to us, so that we have a long-term relationship, but we don't have this bonding that they have the feeling that they have to buy a product, or that they have to ask us something. So we are there for them when they need us. I always say the teacher appears when the student is ready, and we, for example, never take people into coaching who are not ready, who are not approaching us and not asking or saying, okay, we want to, this is our goal, we want to get there. Of course, it's easier in a business context than if you go on a life coaching or a health coaching or something like that. And the people have to be ready, because they have to work. They have to be ready to work on their goals, to achieve the goals, and because we keep them always accountable. So we are really like, calling and saying, okay, where's the data? And the people have to be ready for that. And that's why it's important for us. That's why we have a lot of material out there, that the people first of all get to know us, get to understand how we work, and then that they are ready and open and really want to achieve the results with us together. As as the topic was positioning yourself in tough times, so we want to give you a tip or an advice. So be present at your customers nowadays. So really nurture your customers, be present, and just give them a call, check how they are, how the situation is, stay connected, and always showcase what you have. So don't stay at home. We all need stay at home, but be present on the digital medias, on social medias, and always tell your customers that you are there and deliver value to them. So they will definitely remember you when everything is over.
And if you're not there out in the market, just starting with your business, use the time to really sit down, write a business plan, talk to people who you trust, but also new people, pitch their idea, make your, do marketing and branding ideas, do all the brainstorming, do as much as you can, because it is really like official time has stopped now, and we are all at advantage if we make use of that. If we get up early, if we make our bed early, if we produce all day, this is much less tiring than actually, staying at home and in bed all day. So work, create content.
And you write a book together. So
Right.
you have a
That's what we did, yeah.
when I visited you last year.